The Labyrinth of the Clouded King. The air in the port city of Alexandria was thick with the scent of salt and ancient dust. Captain Elara Vance, a relic hunter with a knack for trouble and a compass that always pointed to the impossible, stared at the bronze artifact lying on her map table. It wasn't just a compass, it was a key. The legend calls it the Sunstone Dial, Elara explained to her nervous partner Jax, a brilliant but cautious cartographer. It opens the way to the Labyrinth of Aethelred, the Clouded King. Jax adjusted his glasses. Elara, Aethelred's labyrinth is just a myth. They say it sinks back into the earth every few centuries, taking its secrets with it. Exactly, Elara grinned, her eyes sparkling with danger. And according to this dial's alignment, it's about to reappear for one night only, tonight. The Sunstone Dial led them deep into the desolate western desert, far past the last known Roman ruins. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery hues, the ground before them began to tremble. Slowly, silently, colossal stone blocks covered in strange glowing glyphs rose from the sand, assembling themselves into a towering circular entrance. "Well," Jax whispered, his voice trembling, "so much for myth." The Trial of Echoes. Inside, the labyrinth was a confusing maze of shifting walls and mirrored surfaces. The air was cold, despite the desert heat. Elara pressed the Sunstone Dial against a central pedestal, and a holographic map flickered to life. The labyrinth isn't about traps, Elara deduced, studying the patterns. It's about choices. The king was mad. He wanted to test the judgment of those who sought his treasure, the Chronos Orb. Suddenly, a voice boomed from the walls, a hollow, echoing laugh. "To find the orb, you must face your greatest failure." The maze split into two paths. The left path was lined with lush green foliage, a vision of paradise. The right path was dark, leading into a narrow, unstable tunnel. Jax immediately pointed left. "The path of safety, Elara. It's an obvious trick to tempt us with danger." Elara shook her head. Aethelred was the Clouded King. He valued truth hidden in the obvious. The green path is the lie, a vision of what we wish we hadn't failed at. The dark path is the one we fear because it represents the risk we didn't take. Trusting her instinct, she dragged Jax toward the dark tunnel. As they entered, the beautiful green path collapsed into a bottomless pit, confirming her perilous choice. The Guardian of Time. The final chamber was vast, lit by a single pulsing sphere floating in the center, the Chronos Orb. Standing guard was not a monster, but an automaton, a towering figure of polished silver with cold, crystalline eyes. To possess the orb, the automaton droned, its voice resonating with temporal static. "You must prove your worth. State your ultimate desire." Jax stepped forward, his eyes fixed on the orb. "My desire is to map all known territories, to complete the great atlas of the world." The automaton raised a massive silver hand. A noble, but ordinary ambition, unworthy. It fired a bolt of energy, forcing Jax to dive for cover. Elara knew the king's test was not about grand goals, but profound, honest desire. She stepped into the light. "My desire," she declared, looking directly into the automaton's chilling eyes, "is not for the orb itself. My desire is to find the next mystery. I seek the knowledge that lies just beyond the last horizon. The search is the only treasure I need." The automaton paused, its crystalline eyes flickering. Then it slowly lowered its hand. "A truth in the madness," it stated. "The Clouded King sought those who valued the journey over the destination." The automaton stepped aside, granting her access to the Chronos Orb. Elara approached the orb, which radiated a soft, warm light that made her feel a profound sense of peace. She reached out and touched it. In an instant, she gained no magical power or wealth, but a flash of pure, unadulterated knowledge. A single, clear vision of an undiscovered island far to the west, shrouded in a perpetual storm, the home of the next great adventure. As she pocketed the Sunstone Dial and the now dimmed Chronos Orb, the ground began to shake violently. The labyrinth was sinking, exactly as the legends foretold. "Time to go, Jax," Elara shouted. They scrambled back through the shifting corridors, using Alara's memory of the next puzzle, rather than the previous ones, to guide their exit. They burst out onto the sand just as the colossal stone blocks clattered back into the earth, disappearing without a trace. Elara looked to the west, where the vision of the storm-shrouded island still lingered in her mind. "Where to now, Captain?" Jax asked, wiping the sweat from his brow, still slightly shaken but with a new spark of excitement in his eyes. Elara just smiled, holding the Sunstone Dial. West, Jax. Always west.